You know what you are doing this weekend. You have a flight booked for November. You made a dentist appointment yesterday. Then the email arrives. The message arrives at 10:47 a.m. on a Tuesday. You were in the middle of a different email. The screen is blue. The font is corporate. The words are short. You read it once. You read it again. The third time, something in it opens. You're not entirely sure that's the right word. You don't close the tab. There is a half-finished coffee on the desk. You put your hand around it. It is cold. The calendar invite appears. 11 a.m. A name you recognize from 2 onboarding forms. 15 minutes. You understand what this means. You understood it before you finished reading the invite. 15 minutes is a specific kind of meeting. Long enough to say the thing. Not long enough that they want to talk about it after. It was decided before the invite was sent. That is just how this works. You have something like 10 minutes. You check the clock. 13. You look out the window. There is nothing out there in particular. You look back at the screen. You're not sure what you are expecting the window to do. 3 faces on the screen. HR, your manager. Your manager is looking at something slightly to the left of the camera. HR reads from a document. The document is not shared. You don't ask. The language sounds like it was prepared. You can tell because it doesn't sound like how people actually talk. The number of severance weeks is stated. Once. You don't ask them to repeat it. You heard it. You're not sure you would have asked, even if you hadn't. The call ends at 11:13. 2 minutes early. You put both hands flat on the desk. You aren't sure why you do that. The laptop is still open. You think about closing it. You leave it open. The accounts go within the hour. The browser refreshes. The login page is not yours anymore. There is a moment where you type the password anyway. An email arrives on your personal phone. The one you use for other things. The laptop will be collected Friday. A courier. Between 9 and 12. You find the bag you used the first week you had this job. 4 years ago. There is a coffee stain on the strap. You never dealt with it. You put the laptop in. You zip it. You carry it to the shelf by the door, not the desk. You open the banking app. You open the notes app. You try to remember the monthly fixed costs from memory. You get most of them. You divide the savings by the monthly number. The result is a number of months. You write it on paper without a label. You fold the paper. You unfold it. You fold it again along the same crease. The number is not a comfort, and it is not exactly a plan. It is something in between. You're not sure it has a word. You scroll through the contacts. The phone is in your hand, without you deciding to pick it up. The first call takes about 20 minutes. You say the word unemployed once, in the middle of something else, and keep talking. The second call is around 1 minutes, maybe 12. The third is a text. You write it 3 times before you send it. Each person needs the story told slightly differently. You didn't expect that. You are managing 3 different versions of the same Tuesday. The day is not done. The email signature still has the title, the company name. The LinkedIn profile says what it said this morning. You open it to update it. The cursor blinks in the About field. You close the tab. You open it again. You're not sure why. You close it. You do this one more time. You are aware you are doing it. It doesn't stop. The title is doing more work than you thought. That's clearer now that it's gone and the space it left is strange. Week 1. You set the alarm for 8. There is nowhere to be at 8. You set it anyway. You're not sure why you set it, but you set it. The alarm goes off. You have been awake for a while. You make coffee. You sit at the desk. You open the laptop. The structure is still running even though the reason it was there is gone. You don't know if that's good. You open the resume. The last version is from 3 years ago. Maybe 3.5. The format is wrong. You don't know this yet. You will. You spend 2 hours on it. You apply to 4 companies before noon. None of them respond. You tell yourself this is probably normal. On the 4th rejection, you look up why. You sit on the results page for a bit before clicking anything. Applicant tracking systems reject resumes before a human reads them. You find this out at 11 p.m. The tab is still open when you go to sleep. 9 applications in week 1. 2 responses. The first rejection has no reason given. You read it twice looking for one. The second is a recruiter. They found you on LinkedIn. They want someone more senior. The call is 4 minutes. Recruiters call people who partially match open roles. You matched some of it. You send 3 more applications that afternoon. You don't think about them as you send them. The job description says 2 to 5 years required. You have 8. You apply. You don't hear back. You knew before you applied. This happens again. The 5th time you start to see the shape of it. 8 years is expensive on paper. You're probably going to leave. These aren't wrong things to think. You start targeting a narrower set of roles. This is a constraint that didn't exist a month ago. Day 14. You write a schedule. A physical piece of paper, not in a document. 8 to 10, applications. 10 to 1, something useful. 1 to 3, calls. After 3, stop. You tape it to the wall. The tape is from a roll you bought for something else a long time ago. The schedule doesn't make it easier. It makes it something. A container for the day so the day doesn't just sit there open. You follow it for 6 days. The afternoon block starts moving on day 4. You remember a job you applied to in your second year out of university. The office was on the 14th floor of a building with a broken elevator. You went up the stairs for the interview. You don't remember most of what happened in the room. You didn't get it. You are still here at the desk. The paper schedule is on the wall. LinkedIn is now an unpaid job. You didn't account for this. You write a post. You restart. You write it again. You post the second one. You read it back an hour later. It is fine. You wish it were better. Being visible to the right people matters more than you treated it. That is something you are adjusting now. You connect with 6 people you haven't spoken to in years. 3 of them respond. You move the cursor to compose a 7th message. You close the window without writing anything. 3 former classmates are promoted this month. You see all 3 in the same week. VP, director, someone who started something on their own. You don't decide to compare yourself. It starts before you decide anything. Something in your brain does this automatically. The feed is very good at providing what it needs. You close the app. You open it 20 minutes later. The posts are still there, obviously. This isn't about weakness. The system is built to produce exactly this. Knowing that doesn't do what you think it's going to do when you first understand it. Day 18. First real interview. Video call at 1:0. You put on the shirt. Just the shirt. The pants are there, but they are not relevant. You move the chair, so the background is a white wall. The old habit of staging yourself. The kitchen is below frame. You are technically in 2 rooms. There is a plant in the corner that you haven't watered in a while. You notice this during the interview. The interview goes 47 minutes. You want this to mean something. You aren't sure it does. You send a thank you note within the hour. Multiple sources say you should do this. The note was read. You can see that. Nothing comes back. You told yourself you would wait 7 days. You send the follow-up on day 4. Silence after an interview is usually just how it works. You know this while you check the inbox. You check it twice in 1 hour. You notice you are doing this. You check it again. You're not sure what you're looking for. Week 4, 3 a.m. You have been awake for a while, long enough that the ceiling looks familiar. The runway number is running again. You know running it again won't change it. You run it anyway. The ceiling still has nothing in it. Your body is responding to this like something immediate is about to happen. It doesn't know the difference between financial and immediate. There was a summer when you were maybe 11 and couldn't sleep and just lay there counting things on the ceiling, the same things every night. There was never anything new to count. You don't know how long this particular version will last. You didn't know then either. Month 2. You open the spreadsheet. The runway is 6 weeks shorter than when you built it. You built the spreadsheet so you would know this when it happened. You knew it was going to happen. Both of those things are true and neither one helps. You recalculate. You write the new number next to the old one. You move the pen to the other side of the paper. It has edges now. It is less of an idea and more of a thing. You schedule a call with someone you used to work with. They have a job. The call is 8 minutes. It is genuinely useful. It is also uncomfortable for both of you in a way that neither of you says out loud. You are asking them to reach back across something. That is the shape of the call, even if the words don't say so. Most positions fill before they're listed. You have known this. You are doing something about it now, later than you should have. You schedule 2 more calls before you close the laptop. The third interview. They ask about your biggest failure at your last company. Your mind goes to Tuesday before you send it there. The first word is layoff. You stop, you correct, you go again. The layoff was a budget decision. Your role was a line that was removed. You know this. You have worked to know this clearly. The sentence still starts with layoff. Understanding the mechanism doesn't do what you think it will do when you first understand it. 3 second-round interviews by week 7. 1 goes to an internal candidate. You find out from an out-of-office 3 weeks later. Organizations tend to prefer internal candidates. They don't usually say so. 1 thread is quiet. 1 is technically still open at the end of week 7. You try to treat all 3 as live. You are better at this on some days than others. There is a role 1 level down. You open it. You know what you think before you finish reading it. You run the calculation anyway. Stability now. Ceiling later. The math on waiting. The calculation is closer than you expected. You don't apply. The tab stays open. You look at it a few times over 2 days. You think about closing it. You close it. You reopen it from history. You're not sure what you wanted the answer to be. 4:47 p.m. The laptop is still open. The 3 p.m. stop was 107 minutes ago. There was 1 more thing to do at 3. Then another. That is all. The guardrails erode. Not because you are weak. Because the pressure is present and the schedule is not. You write 3 p.m. on tomorrow's paper. You know how it will probably go. The offer arrives on a Wednesday. You weren't expecting Wednesday. Subject. Offer of employment. You are in the hallway when you read it. The number is about 80% of what you had. Maybe 82. Depending on which parts you count. There's a start date. A salary band. Benefits. You walk back to the desk. On the way, you move a chair that was slightly in the hall. Offer against burn rate. About 4 minutes. You run the updated runway with the offer income. Then you run it again to make sure the first one was right. 3 options. Accept as offered. Counter. Walk away and keep looking. Walking away restarts a search that is 7 weeks in. You have paid those 7 weeks already. The window is 72 hours. You read that part twice. You counter at 12% over the base. They come back in 4 hours. 6%, that's where they are. The conversation wasn't really about the number. It was about arriving at a number both sides already knew was in the range, in a way that let both sides act like they found it. The final number is between the two. The thread closes. You type, "I accept." You read it before sending. You have been reading things carefully for weeks now. You're not sure when that started. DocuSign at 4:58 p.m. You are still at the desk. Your name goes into a field at a company whose name you first read 7 weeks ago. The start date is 3 weeks from today. In 3 weeks, the alarm will have somewhere to go. You sit with it for a moment. You try to name what you are feeling. It takes a moment. It isn't relief, or not entirely. There is something on the other side of relief that doesn't have a clean name. What you missed most was not the title. You checked that assumption thoroughly over 7 weeks. It did not hold. It was having somewhere to be. The structure. The thing that tells the day what it is. You didn't know this before Tuesday. You know it now. You're not entirely sure what to do with knowing it. The night before, the new laptop is on the table. It is company issued. It is charged. It is not the one from before. You set the alarm for 8. There is somewhere to be. You lay out the clothes. You look at them for a moment after. You didn't used to do that. You close the laptop. You put it on the edge of the desk, not the center. You think about whether you're ready for tomorrow. You set the thought down. The alarm will go off at 8. You will probably be awake before it. This is something you know about yourself now that you didn't before. The new email signature has a different title. You read it once. Not to check it. To see how it sits with you. It also has weight. You expected this. Being right about it doesn't make it lighter. You know something about yourself now that you didn't know before the Tuesday message 7 weeks ago. And you're not entirely sure knowing it was worth what it costs to know it, but you know it. The mechanism is the same. Your position inside it changed. So did you. In ways that are still forming. The alarm goes off at 8. You are already awake.